Rosie from Rosie and Ramona, and I'm here today to do a lovely Christmas tutorial for you. We're going to do a really simple craft today. That is one of these beautiful tree decorations. They're really simple to make. It just involves folding a bit of paper. It's a bit fiddly, but it's very affordable. You don't need much. I'm going to show you what you need right now. So we've got magazines, old bits of scrap paper. I've got old wrapping paper, which you can use. Old music sheet paper is quite nice. It's quite rustic, looks nice on a Christmas tree. I'm going to show you today with some magazine cutout. You can use free magazines, any type you like. Magazines are good because they've got loads of different colours in, and the joy of this is you can be really creative in your colour schemes and what sort of colours you want to use. So I've got here on this catalogue, I've folded some bits up here. The Christmas section is always quite good because you've got lots of sparkly bits. You've got fairy lights, baubles, that sort of thing. So they work really nicely. But as I say, any sort of scrap paper will work, anything you like. The other things you need are some string or some thread. Beads, if you want to use them, they are not essential, but if you've got any, then they're quite nice for the bottom of the decoration here. You will need some scissors, a ruler, a stapler. It doesn't need to be a massive industrial one like this. It can be a normal stapler. And some sticky tape. Any sort of tape is fine. I like this parcel tape. I think it's quite easy to use because it's not quite as sticky. So the most important part of this decoration is the measurements. So you will need to measure out 4 pieces of paper, and if you bear in mind that each piece of paper will create one of these lovely concertina circles, so you can decide what colour scheme you want to use. So your largest piece will be 21 centimetres by 10 centimetres. The next piece will be 21 centimetres by 8 centimetres. I'm sure you can guess where this is going. The next piece will be 21 centimetres by 6 centimetres. And your last piece will be 21 centimetres by 4 centimetres. If you get this bit wrong, you may find it quite difficult to create this circle, as I learnt whilst practicing. So make sure you get these measurements right. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start folding. Move all of this out of the way. So I'm going to start with the biggest piece because it will get more fiddly as you go along. So you can sort of practice with the larger bit and you'll get better and better. And we're just going to fold it. Now, it doesn't really matter how thin the piece is, but I would say about 1 centimetre is about right. But like I say, it's approximate. You can just sort of go for it. And you're going to fold each piece all the way along. Try and keep it as neat as you can. Try and keep it as straight as you can. And you can go all the way along. If you find at the end, I'm going to show you this piece now that I've already folded. If you find at the end that one of the pieces overlaps a little bit, you just need to cut it along to make it nice and straight. But you should find you'll get a piece like this. Beautiful. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to fold it all together, and you're going to fold this piece in half. So you need to be quite precise with this. So I fold it in half once like this, and then fold it in half again the other side, just so you get a good line. There we go, and press really hard for this bit so that you can really see the middle. The point of this is so that when we staple it, it's nice and accurate. So you can see, we should be able to see a lovely line in the middle there. That's exactly where you want your staple to be. So I'm going to get my massive stapler out, and I'm going to pop this in here. In fact, you probably find a normal size stapler much easier to use. So, and what I like to do as well is just hold the stapler over as if you're about to use it, but not quite, just so you know it's right on that line. And then we should have a lovely joined up piece there. Perfect. So now you've got your staple, you can create your circle. So this is where it starts to get a bit fiddly. You're going to take one end from the bottom and one end from the top, and you're going to join it together. And this is why the folding in the middle is really important, because if you don't get it central, then you get a bit of an overlap. Which is not the end of the world. It will still look beautiful on the tree. You'll be able to hide it around the other side, but still. So you're going to hold those bits together and you're going to stick it down, and you're going to do the same that side. So I will show you now with a piece of tape. So you only need a tiny piece of tape. I'll save that bit for another piece. And as you stick those together, you're going to tape it. Now, this is also very important. We've got to make sure that the tape goes at the edge of the wheel, because later on we're going to need that gap there to put some thread through. So hopefully you can see me sticking that over like this. Press it down. You can sort of fold it as well so that it becomes part of the wheel. There you go, that's halfway done. And now we're going to do the other side. The other thing as well, which is not essential, but if you've decided on a colour scheme and you've perhaps decided that you want maybe this blue side and not this white side, you need to make sure that the sticky tape is stuck on the non-blue side, if that makes sense. So you can see here I've taped onto the white bit. If I join these together, this joins on the blue bit. So all I'll do is I'll turn it over and just pinch those bits together. So you sort of adding an extra bit in there. Get my bit of tape, stick that down. It's really fiddly. There we go. And you'll see there you've got your lovely concertina wheel. We'll go for the blue side there. And you'll see there's two little gaps, tiny little holes here, and that's where the thread's going to go. So once you've concertinas every single piece, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got your biggest bit at the bottom, and then you're going to work your way up. So you take a piece of thread, and we start at the bottom. You're going to put the thread through the hole like this. This is also very, very fiddly. And it becomes more fiddly as you go along. It also becomes more fiddly the thicker the string you use. So that goes through there like that. So this is your bottom piece. You're going to straighten that out like that. And that will hang like this. Before I go on, if you do want to use beads, you need to take another piece of thread. Probably doesn't need to be quite this long. Maybe decide how long you want it to be. So let's say maybe here. So I'm going to cut it here. There we go. Use that bit. So you've got the bottom piece here hanging, you've got your thread ready to hang the rest on, but you need to pull it down a little bit so your loop is sort of hanging like this, and then you're going to put this piece of thread through. Oh, hang on. There we go. And then your thread that's going to run through the tree will hold that piece in place. And then what you can do is you can add beads to the bottom of that thread, which I'm not going to show you now because I'm sure it will take me absolutely ages to thread them, but you get the idea. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to tie up this piece so it's nice and secure, because otherwise if you don't tie it up it will hang lopsided. There you go. Can you hear the crackling of the fire whilst I'm concentrating? We are filming today in the Guildhall and it's beautiful. Okay, so I've tied that into a knot. So the next thing you need to do is space your next piece. So I'm going to go onto this size because I'm not going to go the whole way. So you want it maybe a couple of centimetres above so that they hang nicely. So what I'm then going to do is take both of the pieces of thread like this, choose where I want the next piece to hang, and then I'm just going to knot it. And again, you don't have to be really precise with this. As long as there's a gap between each wheel, it will look great. So there you can see there's a knot created, which means that this piece won't fall down. It'll stay above it. And then we're going to repeat the process. So I'll just show you very quickly. We're going to go through the hole here. There's one. And then take the other piece of string through here. And so you will see, hopefully, I've done it right. There we go. So that hangs ever so slightly above it. And then I will repeat the process, knot this piece, leave a gap and knot there, and add the next piece on. And you continue that with each piece. So you've got 4 pieces. You don't even have to use 4 pieces if you don't want to. You could just use 3, or you could go more. You could do 6, as long as the measurements go up in 2 centimeters each time. And then what you get at the end is something like this. So, like I said, you can use loads of different materials. This one I've used old wrapping paper. I've got some beads on the end there. So the other thing you can use is, like, for this one I've used old school paper, which is just gridded, and then I've used a brighter string. And if you want, you can add a bit of metallic card at the top to make a little tree topper. All I've done there is cut out a couple of circles and hole punched them and added them to the top of the thread. But like I say, you don't have to do that for every single one. And I think we're about there. There is one more thing. This one here. So this piece, I've used cardboard. Cardboard is much harder to use. I would recommend starting with magazine paper because it's quite thin and really easy to fold, but you can move on to things like cardboard. And I don't know if you can see, but I've decorated the card before I've done it. So all I've done is cut out the pieces and then just done some patterns on with different pens and then concertinaed them. That's quite a nice outcome there. And this one here, I've used the sheet paper. The music paper is really nice folded. You can see it's really detailed, and with some old wrapping paper. So a really simple tree decoration, a little bit fiddly, but anyone can do it. Basically free, because all you need is some magazine cutouts or some old paper and some sticky tape and a normal size stapler and a ruler. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you very much for watching. Speak to you soon. Bye.